Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. Here we are, another week starting. I've got my spare parts. If you remember last week, those who watched, we had lots of fun with our separator tower, trying to get the pump that runs and pulls the digestate out working, and trying to get the separator that separates the liquid from the solids. That wasn't working. So I've got spare parts now to try and get the separator working. We did get the digester pump running, so that was good. We've also got a few other things that have arrived, so I'll show you what we've got here. So here we go guys, just a bit of insulation there. We've got a new starter motor because we chewed through 2 of those starter motors in 2 weeks, so I'm deciding to keep one on the shelf, and they're pretty easy to put in place, so we don't need people to come out and do that. We can start doing that ourselves. I've got the contactors, so that's the one that will run the separator, and we've got a new HDMI screen for the Vogelsang macerator, which is the feeding unit. We can actually now see what's going on. We haven't had one of those for a long time, so that's all good. So let's crack on. So here we are at the end guys. Last week we replaced that and set the screen up here, put a bit of mastic round so the water doesn't get inside. That controls the digestate pump that pulls the liquor from the bag up to the top there. But then what we had is a series of trips. If there's an overload and for some reason that motor up top is pulling too much and it's tripped too many times, and it's welded this contactor. So I'm going to pull that out now. Took a photo of all the wires there, top and bottom, and we'll put the new one in, see if we can get something working from there. Okay, so there's the old one pulled out. There's a series of screws on the top that you've got to pull it down with. So there we are. I'll take the bottom wires out and we'll go from underneath there, and we'll go from there. So there it is, all put back together and hopefully working, but we're gonna... Okay guys, I've put that all back together now. Hopefully it's all working. We're not separating yet. We're just taking whole digestate out of our secondary digester and putting it into the tanker. We're going to have a look tomorrow at what's blocking up the screw press and making that trip. And so hopefully we can then get back on side with separating, taking the liquor up and putting separated liquor back into the tank, because the tank is getting really thick and that doesn't do as good. It needs to be a bit more sort of liquid than where it is, as I said. So I'm going to go and have a look, put the new HDMI screen in on our Vogelsang, and we'll see where we go on that. Okay, so we're just going to pop into the engine room. With engine's actually down at the moment, as we've got Shenton's engineers servicing this side of things. Okay guys, I'm just going to show you at the little window that we've got on the secondary digester. Hopefully you can see how thick the mixture is becoming through this lack of separation. So here's the porthole. I'll try and clean it down a bit. There we go. In essence, it should be a lot more runny than that and liquidy. That's become more of a sort of porridge, a thick porridge, and it just isn't right. It puts more pressure on everything really. Pumps don't work as well. We don't seem to get the gas out either. We're feeding quite heavy at the moment, so we're just going to cut back on the feeding and try and stop some of that porridge effect, we hope. But I'm hoping we can get that separator working tomorrow, because that's really you really have to recirculate the liquid here. So that would be a great start. Okay, so here's the front of the screen, completely dead. Opened up. I've got to get it out the back here. Bolts, change that over, put the plug, and hopefully it should work. Okay, so that's good news. I put the new one in, something seems to be happening. I think I might have done something right for once. Just got to reset this and then hopefully that will all come up. Okay guys, unfortunately the screen just failing to connect, so my IT work is not that good as I suspected, so we'll have to get the experts in rather than the oily rag here. But anyway, I thought I'd give it a go. Okay guys, we had the chipper running here. We've cleared up all those scraggy bits. Bit of waste there, which we just feel we can't really put through the chipper. Yeah, it's just so kind of so mucky there that it just kind of won't chip any further. That a few punky bits of wood there, but we'll just shovel that up into the dump trailer, take that down to our fire pit, just get rid of that. I mean, it's done an all right job. You know, as I said, you can tell it's fairly punky how it kind of looks in your hand, quite kind of yeah, just bitty really. But it's not the worst chip, it's not the best, but I'm just glad that we've got this section of the yard back to being clear, and we can now hopefully get on with doing a few more logs, cutting. This heap of chip behind me really needs drying, but I'm just still waiting for that part to come from my new biomass boiler. Yeah, hopefully soon. It's been a long time coming, and it just really want to get going on that. But anyway, there we are. Okay guys, so with a little bit of help from the IT department, our screen is now working. Yeah, it's only been down for a year or so, and here it is. It just gives us all the data that we need on the vocal tank running, what the blades are when they're cutting, the flow rates, if there's any error codes that come up, what's happened. So it's really, really useful to have that screen back up. And I'm going to take the old one to a menu department. Hopefully they can have a look and see if they can get it mended. But yeah, happy days basically. This is great. This shows you the pressure before the energy jet, what the flow rate cubic meters is. That's around 30. Above that we've got the percentage of cutting blade and the pressure after the energy jet just below. So it's a really, really useful screen to have and just show us what's going on. Okay, so the guys are up the top there on the separator, getting it going, trying to get it blocked up. So we'll just have a quick look at how they're doing. There we go, trying to get this to run. They've got a bung in the end there, a bit of straw there. They're trying to get it to push out. It looks like there's problems. I'll go and see how they're getting on. Okay guys, here's the screen that we pulled out. This could be the problem. It's actually a new screen, and they said they had to bang it in with a hammer, and so I have a feeling that this is what was causing all the problems. That's our other screen. We put them in milk soap to remove the fibre, and that seems to do quite well. And the old separator, which is up there, over there, it's actually working pretty well now. Let's just drop something, as you can see. So yeah, I'll go back to the guy who sold me this and say it doesn't fit, and that's what our problems were. So guys, you can just see it's drawing a little bit high on the current there, the separator at least, higher than the discharge pump, which is the next pump that drags the stuff up there. I'll send it to the guys, our IT department, and yeah, we'll see what they say. Hopefully it's within tolerance and everything, but it was definitely something with that screen, so I'll get another screen on order, send that one back because it was brand new, and yeah, hopefully that will cure some of the problems. Okay guys, we've been separating overnight because, as I said, the viscosity in the tank has been increasing, and we were feeding more to try and get the gas, and then the gas was falling off because it was getting thicker and thicker. And I can see as I come up here, we've got a nice plume of water vapour there, and the other one is the boiler. So they've both been running now. I looked at the remote screens, and as I've added more liquid from the separator back into the tank and the bag, it's all starting to gas better. So we're getting back into a sort of virtuous circle of going well. I'll just show you the trend line and show you that happening on the HDMI screen. So we're just at the engine control. That flat red line up the top is the gas level. That's what I like to see. This wavy, spiky line is the hot water temperature, and you can see the boilers coming on as we get extra gas. If I scroll back, yes, they wasn't too bad, but the other days we were sort of coming down on the gas and we were feeding very heavily, sort of 18 tons, whereas normally we should feed about 14 to 16 tons, and we just weren't getting the performance out of the plant. Another dip here, and the boiler certainly wasn't running like coming on there, but as we go back, it seems to be running better now, so hopefully, God willing, that will keep on. So separating really nicely. There are two pipes that are going in there. This one is the overflow, nothing's coming out of that, and that one there is the separated liquor. So everything that's coming out is getting separated, and all that nice liquor, which I think still has a bit of punch in it, is going back into the tank and is making everything more liquid. And that's the pile of separated material overnight, and that's all good. There we are. Back pressure on this switch here is still a little bit high, it's reading 1.3. I'd like to see that below 1.4 there. So we'll have to have a few more days just separating. There's about 1,000 cubic meters in that bag, about 700 in the tank. That pump is a 10 cube one, so you know it takes 100 hours to separate all that liquid out. So you know we're going to have to be doing it for a good 4 days to clean out that secondary digester, and a bit more here. But that's what our little challenge is: just separate to get more liquidity back into the system. Okay, so I'm just inside the box. We've got the clamp meter on the digestate pump that takes the liquor from the combi bag to the separator. That's reading 0.22 on 20 amps. I'm now going to try the separator. That's the separator one. Again on the brown live wire, it's reading 0.8, 0.8. Yeah, that's not reading so much. So maybe that's what the problem was there, the screen. Okay guys, another problem we have with the plant is our district heating scheme, which is heats the house, which is about 600-700 meters away from the plant. It's not sending the water down very hot. This is the twin core pipe coming out of the ground. It's insulated. It then goes into a heat exchange system there. Actually, I think it's this little tiny one here, little unit in there, just heat exchanges over. We've got our RHI heat meter there, which is what we get paid on, and then we've got the header. But if I just swap round, I'll show you what the temperature's coming in at. So the header's running at 70, but this gauge here shows that it's running at about 55, or just over 55. It's coming into the house. So we're losing about 20 degrees, which isn't great, and then it's going back at about 40. So we're just going to try and see if we can boost that up somehow. We think there might be a blockage. They've got filters in the header, and one of the filters might be blocked. So we've had a lot of pipe work done, so we're going to take a look at that and just see if we can get a bit more flow out of a bit more hot water coming down here. Yeah, I've closed that off up there, so I hope that'll just empty this out, and then we can start to take this out as well. There, once we take a little bit of the water out. It's a bit blocked. That's very solid, yeah. I'll have to give that a brush, clean that out. That's the water that's come out, it's pretty filthy. So I think that's probably our problem. That's why the heat's not going down as well as it could. Okay, so I've given it a scrape down with my knife, got that relatively clean, and I'll try and put that back in again and see where we go. Meanwhile, guys, up in the wood yard, we are cutting more softwood. We did a whole, about sort of 30, 40 cubes of it originally, and we thought that would last us. Already been taken out. I think people quite like the softwood because we basically sell it for the same price as a bulk bag, but they get a cubic metre of it. So it's 40 quid less than the hardwood supersized bag. I think it's great value. It burns nice and quick, lights up well, and if you've got a log burner, you just sort of shut down the vent and it just sort of holds it. When I'm in Sweden with my wife, they always burn softwood, no hardwood. So yeah, that's what we're up to at the moment. Just pulling in some of the larch that we got delivered in July. Interestingly, it's already going slightly rotten. Even though I stacked it up above there, you can just see a little bit of it just behind just there. With the winds that are blowing through, it's still going a little bit rotten in the middle. Anyway, there we are. Okay, guys, so back down the bottom here. Don't know whether you can see that that is actually coming back at 60 now. So a lot better. It's up there around about 70. So we're losing 10 degrees on the way down, which is still a little bit too much, but it's a lot better than it was the other week when it was around about 40. So just cleaning out that filter, upping the pump. We still think there might be a problem on the district heating pump, so we'll have to take a look at that. But it's good to see it back coming in hot. Okay, morning guys. We've had another 24 hours separating. I separated overnight, so actually, if anything, the trailer's a little bit full behind me there. And I'll just show you how. Have a look at the back pressure on the pumps. So I'll just turn the camera around. Okay, it's coming in. It's running about 1.2, so 1.9. So all that separation is basically meaning that we're getting a more liquid state in the tank, which is great. And I think that's why the gas and everything is performing a lot better now. So we're going to have a quick look inside and have a look at the chart overnight. See how. I know it's running quite well because the boiler's on and the second engine's all pumping away, so that's great. So there's our production line. That's the gas holder level maximum. Getting nice heat being produced by the boiler, which is drying our logs, and that's our secondary digester. The pressure in there just going up and down, gas being taken out nicely. So everything's working rather well at the moment, but that's a bit of a fatal last words. Okay guys, hope you enjoyed that little video there. Just showing you one of the things that we have to do to keep the plant running. It's a bit of a sort of fourth row bridge operation. As soon as one thing goes well, something else pops up and you've got to get on that. So anyway, keep liking and subscribing and we'll see you on the next vid.